Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the transfer student session. We hope you have enjoyed your portion of this event already thus far. We've got some really inspiring information from our research spotlights and, of course, from Marie and Franco during our Why Engineering presentation. If you're here right now, it's possible that you're already taking engineering courses or first year science, math, chemistry courses as you're preparing to hopefully transfer in to UBC Engineering. That's what we're going to be covering today in this presentation. Thank you for joining us. Welcome. My name is Kyle. I'm an engineering advisor at UBC's Okanagan campus. I use he, him pronouns. Also joining me today are two current UBC engineering students, Hamza and Samantha. Please stick around for the second half of this presentation. They're going to be sharing their own personal experiences at UBC, and it'll be much more exciting than the stuff you're about to hear from me as we get rolling here. But we're going to be jumping into some details that cover everything related to transfer process for UBC Engineering. We'll talk about some admissions details, our programs, student experiences, and the transfer process. So let's jump in. It's going to be fun. At UBC, there are two beautiful campuses where learning has been taking place long before UBC arrived. The Okanagan campus is located on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Syilx Okanagan Nation and their peoples. And the Vancouver campus is located on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Musqueam peoples. I would also like to acknowledge the traditional owners and caretakers of the land that you are joining us from today. If you are going to be comparing both of the UBC campuses, it is important to know that both campuses have the same academic offerings, especially when it comes to UBC Engineering. However, the environments on each campus can be different. So when you're choosing a university, ultimately you're choosing a new home for the next chapter in your life. We recommend that you explore the unique opportunities and lifestyles that are offered at both campuses and surrounding areas as you try to find the best fit for you for the next 3, 4, 5 years of your life. So this could include campus size or city size. Maybe it's proximity to your interests. Maybe it's proximity to home. Whatever's important to you, add all those things up as you're considering which campus might be the best fit. If you're able to visit campus in person, I highly recommend you do so. On November 2nd, we have the in-person open house available for UBC Engineering, November 2nd on both campuses. We also have virtual campus tours that you can be checking out as well, and a number of other virtual prospective student events throughout this fall. So keep an eye out for those. But when we talk about engineering at UBC, the degree that we offer is called the Bachelor of Applied Science. That is the engineering degree at UBC. In Canada, there's no standard naming rights. So some universities might call it a Bachelor of Science in Engineering or just a Bachelor of Engineering. Here we call it the Bachelor of Applied Science. What's important to make sure, though, no matter where you study, you want to make sure that degree is accredited. And accredited means you can apply for future engineering licensures as well. So at UBC, all of our programs are accredited within the Bachelor of Applied Science for engineering. So that should give you peace of mind. We are actually one faculty spread across both campuses. So the Kelowna and Vancouver campus comprises all of UBC Engineering. So regardless of which campus you apply to, all students do complete the foundational first year for Bachelor of Applied Science. It's crucial to first steps and in your success, not only in second year and beyond. If you're currently completing one of our engineering transfer programs with one of our partner schools in BC, you're currently experiencing this first year foundational program. So in that first year, we're touching on key concepts for engineering design, chemistry, physics, math, and English. We're applying university level rigor and engineering concepts to all those topics as well. So keep in mind, if you're completing one of those transfer programs, you're technically in our first year foundation program. If you're not completing one of our first year engineering transfer programs, hopefully you're completing some courses that might be equivalent to those from the institution you're currently studying at. There's 5 programs that are offered at UBC's Okanagan campus. A program can also be referred to as a major. And so you can be studying civil engineering, computer engineering, electrical engineering, manufacturing, or mechanical engineering at the Okanagan campus. The Okanagan campus is located in the city of Kelowna, within the Okanagan Valley. It's a region known for its crystal clear lakes and surrounding mountains and endless outdoor adventure. And so, yeah, what's pretty cool to know, because it is a bit of a smaller campus in comparison to Vancouver, we're actually able to offer our Okanagan campus students guaranteed first choice for their program or their major. So after completing first year, or more so earning year 2 standing, you're able to declare your program or your major. If you're admitted to UBC Engineering into second year, if you transfer in with year 2 standing, you'll also be able to declare your program or major right off the bat at the Okanagan campus. UBC's Vancouver campus is located on the western tip of the Point Grey Peninsula, which is located within the city of Vancouver. This area is known for its west coast seaport, surrounding mountains, and vast cultural diversity. And so, yeah, we've got the same 5 programs that are offered on the Vancouver campus, plus 9 more. A lot more to choose from here. What's a little bit different for the Vancouver campus is you do have to go through what's called the year 2 placement process. Essentially, you'll be competing for your program. So you, along with all other incoming transfer students and first year students that are advancing to year 2, you go through the year 2 placement process, where essentially you rank your order of the programs. Ideally, you're taking all 14 of those, ranking them in the order you want to study. And we'll jump into a little bit more details on that year 2 placement process a little bit later on. But let's talk about admissions. This is super crucial, especially for transfer students. It's always a hot topic. So let's take a look at that. The application to UBC, it's open now. And we recommend you apply as early as possible. Get it off your to-do list. I tend to procrastinate with a lot of things. Maybe you do as well. As an engineer, you probably don't, but you want to get it off your books right off the bat. So when you apply, we're going to ask for all of your information and academic history, but you don't necessarily need to have final grades available. If you're applying now, chances are your final grades for this term are not complete yet. That's okay. You can still get your application in. So the deadline to be considered based on your interim transcripts is to apply by December 1st. And interim transcripts would take a look at your grades from your first term or first semester. And then they'd also take a look to see which courses you're registered in for your second semester. We do recommend you apply by December 1st. Why not? Try to get in there for an early round of admission. If you're not admitted in that early round of admission, that's okay. You're automatically considered for the subsequent rounds of admission thereafter. No matter what, you definitely want to apply by January 15th. That is the deadline to be considered for program entry for September of that following year. So if you apply by the December 1st, 2024 date, or by the January 15th, 2025 date, you'll be considered for program entry to, say, engineering by September of 2025. Your application, your journey for your application, it starts at you.ubc.ca. You can find the application to this website. You can see the big red button there, apply to UBC. But this website also has some other really helpful resources. You can take a look at admission requirements, financial planning, those virtual tours we were talking about, or in-person tours, prospective student events. There's so much information you can find on this website. When you do complete your application to UBC, I do have some advice for you. I recommend you start early and take your time. Don't wait till January 15th to submit. Take your time, get started on it early. Let the online application guide you. Follow the steps, be thorough, complete it accordingly. You definitely want to tell us your full academic history. Maybe you took some courses at a local college, or post-secondary institution, then you took a break, then you came back to do, say, an engineering transfer program. Still include your transcripts for all your prior studies. You definitely don't want to get caught withholding any information. So share your full academic history. Be accurate in everything that you're submitting in your application. The most important one, use an email address you check frequently and enter that email address correctly. And then I'd also recommend you make note of your student number. That's going to come in handy as you move forward. Let's actually take a look at some screenshots of what the application looks like. You will be, if you're new to UBC and you've never studied before or been admitted in the past, you'll be completing your application through Education Planner BC. If you've taken courses at UBC before or been admitted in the past, you'll do it through the new Workday student account. But to start, you're going to complete your common applicant profile. It's pretty basic. There's 3 components to this: some personal information, some contact information. Again, use your preferred email. Make sure you enter it correctly. And then you're also going to include academic history. So this could be transcripts from high school and any post-secondary institutions you've attended in the past or are currently attended. Once you've completed these 3 common areas, you can hit start applying and get rolling to advance in the next one there. Now this comes to where you identify your degree of study. When you apply to UBC, you're applying to the degree. The Bachelor of Applied Science is what you would apply to if you're interested in engineering. You don't apply directly to your major. In other words, if you're interested in biomedical engineering, you're not going to be applying directly to biomedical engineering. That program or major comes later in year 2 placement. When you're applying to UBC, you choose your degree. You actually get 2 choices in that application as well. And you definitely want to rank those choices in the order of preference. So you can apply to the same degree on each campus, or you could apply to 2 different degrees on the same campus. In this example that you see on the screen, this student has indicated that the Bachelor of Applied Science, which is engineering, on the Okanagan campus is their first choice. And their second choice is also Bachelor of Applied Science, but on the Vancouver campus. Definitely rank your choices in the order of your preference. You will only be evaluated for choice 1. It's not until you are determined not admissible for choice 1 that admissions will then move to choice 2. So you definitely want to order those accordingly. In most cases for transfer students, you're not going to have a personal profile. The application is actually quite straightforward, so you don't need to stress too much about that. Most important is get it in on time, make sure you're accurate, and then monitor those emails. Once you have completed and submitted your application, it's very important that you monitor your emails. Not just monitor your email for a UBC email, you then have to open the UBC email and then read all contents of that UBC email. There could be an action item for you. You might have to upload a new version of your transcript that now shows final grades for all courses, or maybe you need to put in more contact info. You definitely don't want a simple action on your application to be the reason you don't get admitted to UBC. So monitor that email address you provided, read all the emails from UBC, and follow the direction provided. Keep in mind, if you apply by December 1st, you're typically going to be putting in those interim transcripts. You don't have final grades yet. Even if you apply by January 15th, you likely don't have final grades yet for your semester 2 or term 2 courses in that January to April timeframe. So all transfer students are going to be anticipating to submit final transcripts at some point later on. So monitor those emails, keep an eye on all the tasks at hand that are asked from you from UBC admissions. We are going to be needing official transcripts from your current institution, your previous institution. We also ask for high school transcripts. Sometimes high school transcripts are looked at in your admission decision. Sometimes they're not for transfer applicants. It really depends, but we can take a closer look at that in the next slide here. So there's 2 main transfer pathways into UBC Engineering. We also have a bridge pathway, but we don't need to talk about that here today. But so the 2 main transfer pathways are what you see here. You have the engineering transfer program through one of our partner post-secondary institutions in BC, or we have the general post-secondary transfer pathway. You can actually learn more about these routes on this same screen that you're using right now. After the presentation, you can scroll down and check out some links to take a closer look. But essentially, if you're currently in an engineering transfer program or you're planning to do an engineering transfer program in the future with one of UBC Engineering's partner institutions, you'll have the opportunity to be admitted directly into year 2. You're going to have to complete all of the courses within the agreement for that particular school. You're going to have to complete all those courses within one academic year, September to April, and earn the minimum GPA to earn that guaranteed admission. But if you do so, you'll be admitted into the Bachelor of Applied Science for the campus that you're pursuing, as long as you achieve those minimum requirements. If you don't, and you're in one of those engineering transfer programs, sometimes students like to spread courses out beyond one academic year, or they piece together prior courses from a post-secondary institution, transfer into the engineering program, and they get a head start, so to speak, or maybe they fail a course, or they don't earn the GPA requirement. All of that is okay. Your application will still be evaluated against the post-secondary admission criteria. So post-secondary admission criteria, we're typically looking at 2 scores, one of which is going to be your overall average in the past 30 post-secondary credits, those most recent 30 post-secondary credits. It will include all pass grades and fail grades within those 30 credits. We'd also look at a second score. We look at all the math, chemistry, physics courses you've taken and compile an average from those. If you repeated the same math course or chemistry course or physics course, we'd look at the most recent grade for that particular calculation, but we'd be looking at those 2 areas. So for a general post-secondary transfer student, generally speaking, it really depends on that year's strength of applicant pool. But in past years, what we've seen to be a competitive average for students trying to transfer in through general post-secondary transfer to the Vancouver campus would typically be a 3.1 to 3.4 range for your overall average, with a math, chemistry, physics average of at least 70%. The competitive range for admission to the Okanagan campus for a general post-secondary transfer applicant would be in that 2.8 to 3.1 GPA, but also with a minimum 70% average among your math, chemistry, physics courses. Now, it also may happen that you don't have 30 credits of post-secondary courses, and that's okay too. Admissions may look at a combination of your high school transcripts and your post-secondary transcripts to determine if you're admissible. So in short, if you're interested in UBC Engineering, apply to UBC Engineering. Get that application in and let admissions worry about the rest. One thing that does apply, though, to transfer students who are applying is the year level. You can be admitted into the Bachelor of Applied Science into either year 2 or into year 1. And so there are 36 or 37 credits worth of first-year engineering courses, depending on which campus you'll be attending. To have year 2 standing in our program, you need to have completed at least 27 of those credits, or have earned transfer credit for at least 27 of those first-year engineering courses. So if you complete all of the engineering transfer programs successfully, earn the minimum admission criteria, you get admitted into year 2, but you've also completed all of the first-year courses, so you just go directly into year 2. Sometimes general post-secondary admitted students, they're admitted into year 1. That's also okay as well. If that's the case, you would finish up the remainder of your first-year courses before advancing. In some cases, depending on your campus and the program, you may also be able to take some of the second-year courses if you're eligible for them and it's permitted in that program's stream, but it's okay. You could still be admitted into year 1 and then catch up in that respect. So here's all the first-year courses for the UBC's Okanagan campus. This is our foundational first-year program. These are the essential tools that you need to be successful in your engineering degree. If you complete the engineering transfer program with one of our partner schools, you'd get credit for all these courses as long as you passed everything. If you are transferring in from a school outside of BC or outside of Canada, hopefully you're going to be getting transfer credit for some of these courses or maybe more, and then you would pick up which you haven't completed yet once you arrived here, if you're admitted. If you are earning that year 2 standing for the Okanagan campus, you declare your major and you get ready to study in September with us. This is a look at the first year foundational program, those 37 credits of first year courses on the Vancouver campus that students complete. Again, if you're completing one of our transfer programs, these are the courses you're taking. They're probably different course codes at your home institution, but they're equivalent courses. So the first year courses on the Okanagan campus are equivalent to the first year courses on the Vancouver campus, and they're also equivalent to the first year courses within our engineering transfer program. It's all by design. If you're doing a post-secondary general transfer applicant, again, if you're wanting to pursue the Vancouver campus, you're hoping to get as many of those first-year transfer credits as you can. If you're admitted with year 2 standing to the Bachelor of Applied Science on the Vancouver campus, you're now able to submit what's called the second-year placement form. Essentially, you're ranking all of the programs you're interested in. We recommend you rank all 14 in order of preference, and from there you'll be compared for each of those programs. So it's competitive entry. You're competing against all other new to UBC Engineering year 2 students and all the prior students that just finished up year 1, earned year 2 standing, and are advancing. So that year 2 placement form, sometimes you might have to add supplementary information like a personal statement, or maybe more, maybe even a portfolio, but there's deadlines to follow for that. You'll be emailed about that. You'll definitely want to do that. This process is separate from your application to UBC. Remember, when you apply to UBC, you're applying to the degree. If you put down your first choice as Vancouver campus, or even your second choice as Vancouver campus, and you feel like you're going to be getting year 2 standing, you'll definitely want to follow the prompts to go to UBC Vancouver Engineering's website to submit your year 2 placement form by the May 15th deadline. It's very common that students submit this form before they get an admission offer as well. So keep that in mind to definitely get that form in and on time. Here's a look at the historical first choice entrance GPA for the year 2 placement. This is not admission into engineering. This is to get your major. So if we look at some of these popular programs here, ENPH, Engineering Physics, this stat shows that 95% of the students who selected engineering physics as their first choice had at least around an 83 average there. 50% of the students were above the 87 mark, and all of those numbers are higher than the minimum GPA requirement for an engineering transfer student to get into engineering. So if you're planning to pursue engineering physics or CPEN, computer engineering, or MECH, mechanical engineering, you're going to want to set your bar higher than the competitive average to get into engineering. You're going to want to shoot for high 80s in your current courses at your post-secondary institution so you can be competitive to get into the major that you want to be pursuing. These are some important upcoming dates and deadlines you want to keep track of. There's those in-person open houses on November 2nd we were talking about. December 1st is our recommendation to get your application in by to be considered for early round offers of admission. If you're not able to get it in by December 1st, you definitely have to get it in by January 15th. And you can see some of the other dates and deadlines that are in there to be following. Definitely make sure you're following these throughout the year. But okay, I've been talking for quite enough here. Now let's bring out some of our current students here. I'd like to introduce you to Samantha. Samantha is a 4th year student at UBC's Okanagan campus in civil engineering. Samantha, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Kyle. I'm so happy to be here today. As mentioned, I am a 4th and final year student at UBC Okanagan, and I transferred from Concordia University in Montreal. So why I chose engineering? Initially, I chose engineering because I had another career prior to going to university, to going to post-secondary education. And I really centered my choice around knowing that engineering was a stable career with relatively high employability, something that I know that I could do a bachelor in and then proceed right to work afterwards. I wouldn't have to pursue like graduate studies, like a master's or a professional degree after. So it was a good path where I could jump in right away. I really especially fell in love with civil engineering because there's so many different pathways available. I chose it based on the fact that if I didn't stick with what I originally had in mind to do for my career, I know I would land somewhere that I would enjoy as well. And I would strongly encourage everyone to kind of really look at the career paths available to you with these different majors after graduation and where you're going to end up, and choose something that you could see yourself doing in a range of different kind of industries and paths that appeal to you, because things change throughout the university. I know I've changed my specialization a couple of times and I've ultimately found what I'm the most passionate about, but having the flexibility was so helpful. As well, ultimately, I was motivated to choose engineering because it was a chance to use engineering, math, practical solutions to be creative and solve some big problems and make more of a difference in the world. I'm really passionate about sustainability, housing affordability, and like disaster resilience and safety for wildfires and earthquakes. And being in school in engineering has really given me the opportunity to explore those different fields and actually like have an impact in those areas during my degree, which I'm so grateful for. So I chose UBC because there were many opportunities available with student clubs, interesting courses, and research. I also always wanted to live in British Columbia, and I transferred right around the time of COVID and kind of took that chance to pursue this lifelong dream of mine. And as well, I wanted to challenge myself at a really great school. So I wanted to be in an environment that would push me to kind of strive to be better and learn more and be surrounded by some of the top researchers in Canada. And I'm very grateful for kind of the opportunities I mentioned earlier about the student clubs and things like that. It's been huge for my professional development. And the photo here on the right of your screen is a picture of a design team that I started at UBC Okanagan. And we're in Colorado, Golden, Colorado, for an international competition. So how I made UBC my new home. So I started in undergraduate research and volunteering as soon as I basically landed on campus. Undergraduate research definitely was challenging to get started in so early in my degree, but I really pushed myself to kind of put myself out there and make those connections early on to make that happen. And doing that, both volunteering and the research allowed me to build a strong network of mentors, peers, and friends that really helped me as I've continued throughout my degree. As well, I got involved in student clubs and started my own design team. First, I started joining student clubs as a member, and then eventually the opportunity came up through a faculty member I knew to start this design team, which is the one pictured here again in Colorado. And really, all this comes down to just putting myself out there and finding the people that share my passion about sustainability, disaster resilience, and housing affordability. And it's allowed me to, meet a lot of great people and create a good community. And so my favorite UBC experiences, of course, the design team that I mentioned, that's definitely up there, but I wanted to mention something different too. So I think probably one of the coolest experiences I had during my degree was I got to publish a paper as first author for the World Conference on Earthquake Engineering, which is an international conference for structural and geotechnical engineers. It attracts people from all over the world. This was based off of a work term I did as an undergraduate research assistant with a professor here at UBC Okanagan. And that project was actually also in partnership with a researcher at the University of Canterbury in New Zealand. So I got to build connections worldwide while doing that. And I had the opportunity to travel to Milan, Italy to present. So the photo on the top of your screen is me presenting at this world conference. I got to attend talks from leading researchers around the world and really learn what some of the best and the brightest are doing in earthquake engineering. And then after that, I kind of made the most of the opportunity to extend it into a vacation. And I stayed in Italy, hiking in the Dolomites for 2 weeks, which is what you can see on the bottom right there. Yeah, so that was definitely one of my favorite experiences at UBC. It was very cool.
Thanks so much, Samantha. You have truly had some pretty incredible experiences and really hit the ground running. I know we had the pleasure of interacting in your summer prior to first year, and you've just made such a lasting impression at UBC already with a really bright future ahead of you. Thanks so much for being here, Samantha. If anyone has any questions for Samantha, on the right-hand side of your screen, you will see event, my agenda, and then session. You can select the session and type in a question in the Q&A specific for Samantha while we've got this session going. Thank you, Samantha. I'd like to introduce everyone to Hamza. Hamza is a current student at UBC's Vancouver campus studying computer engineering. Hamza, thanks so much for being here with us.
Hi, everyone. It's actually pronounced Hamza. I know it's spelled with an A. It should be a U there. You can ask my parents about that. So I am a fourth year computer engineering student studying at the UBC Vancouver campus. I've always been passionate about engineering. I've always wanted to, create meaningful solutions. What I like to do for fun is I like to go running. I am sort of creative, so I like doing dance and music as well. So yeah, onto this slide. Why I chose engineering. So clearly, I have a passion for innovation. So what that means is I like designing new things. I like pushing myself to the limit when it comes to the technology and the advancements there are available to us as students and as members of society. I think it's important for people to contribute back to society because we get so much from it. And that's why I chose engineering. It was a sort of a way to give back and use my skills in mathematics and use my pattern solving abilities to do some good. Nowadays, the rage is about tech and AI. So that's what I'm excited to explore. That's what I'm exploring right now in my studies. And I hope to use those tools to one day make a difference. I should actually explain the picture in the previous slide. This was an event where we were actually visiting a bunch of refugees to Canada, and we were explaining them what engineering is and what engineering is at UBC. So this was one of the ways that I was able to give back early on in my education and career. So why I chose UBC. It's a reputable program. It's well known around the world. I've talked to people from the US, and I've sent out applications to places like Germany for internships, and a lot of these places recognize UB as a reputable academic institution, and that's sort of why I chose UBC. There were other options. There were some local universities I looked at. But ultimately, I chose UBC because I knew that it had a very strong footing in the international community. Because of that, there's a lot of career connections available at the institution. There's so many events that happen on a daily basis. One of the events include some hackathons. If you're into computer science and software engineering, you'll likely participate in some hackathons during your undergraduate degree. This was actually from last week. You can see me in the front row over there wearing, I think, the same hoodie as I am right now. This event was called NASA Space Apps, and what we did at this event was we were given a bunch of challenges, and we could pick from one of them. And all of these challenges had to do with some sort of thing about space. The challenge we chose was about climate change. We made a AI web app tool that told stories about climate change in different places on Earth. And moving on, there's also a bunch of clubs and activities. I'm a vegan myself, so there's always a way for you to find community at UBC. There's a club for everything. There's dance clubs, there's art clubs, there's sports clubs. You don't have to be a competitive varsity athlete. There's recreational sport options. If you're athletic, you can join those clubs. And yeah, that's why I chose UBC, because of all these cool options. Yeah, Vancouver is a very, very chill place. We are very fortunate to be in this beautiful, beautiful city. And that's one of the ways I, made myself feel at home was actually getting to know the city and exploring the community. I would highly recommend, if you're coming to UBC, that you find a place near campus instead of commuting, because I commuted for the first year or so at UBC, and I missed out on a lot of the cool spots around campus. Now that I am near the campus, I get to see these new things and explore a lot more. Getting involved in the campus clubs and activities also enriched my experience, from the vegan club to some engineering design teams. If you don't know what an engineering design team is, you'll learn about that, I think, from probably one of the other sessions. If not, I can give a short little explanation. It's essentially a club, but for the purpose of designing an engineering product. Inside, you'll work with a whole bunch of people on designing something cool using your engineering skills. Sorry, in that picture, that's actually Vancouver Public Library. So I hadn't been to this library until like this year, and I was like just totally amazed by how cool it looks. You guys should definitely check it out. So my favorite UBC experiences so far include exploring the Chan Center. Some of my favorite artists performed here, including John Batiste. You can see him right there sitting. That's his wife next to him. They have an amazing story and a wonderful documentary out on Netflix if you're interested in watching it. I would highly recommend it. It's about the artist's journey and his wife's journey, particularly fighting through cancer. So yeah, very highly recommended documentary. In addition to seeing these artists perform at the Chan Center, which is located right on the UBC campus, I also had the privilege of boarding one of Canada's naval vessels as part of the UBC Engineering and Royal Canadian Navy collaboration, as part of a collaboration between these two entities. What we got to do on the vessel was go through various components of the ships and check out the different technologies and arsenal and other military procedures that happen to take place on the boat. And it was a really cool event. There was a small group of us, and we all got to go on like these. There was the main big boat, and then we all got to go on like these tiny boats, and I forget what they're called, but they're very fast. So it was really cool. And my final point is about co-op opportunities. Currently, I'm still in the co-op program. I've had the opportunity to be on co-op before, and this year I'm looking for new internships as well. And the co-op job portal that UBC provides has plenty of opportunities for me to look through. And I just had an interview today, so I hope I did good. I hope you guys wish me the best of luck. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Hamza. I'm sure you nailed that interview, and we'll keep our fingers crossed for you that you get some positive feedback from that opportunity. You too have also been really, really involved so far in your degree, and also have a very bright future ahead of you. I have to say, for all the folks that are watching, as an advisor, I meet with prospective students, but also with current students to help them navigate their degree. Year after year, I consistently notice that our transfer students are mature. They are motivated. They know exactly what they want. They buckle down and they do well in our program. Students that transfer into UBC Engineering, we typically see them do quite well, as you can see Samantha and Hamza are already doing so. So this does conclude the end of the transfer student session, but it doesn't actually finish off the end of the event. This is a great screen here for you to screenshot or take a picture of. The links on the left-hand side can help you learn more about admissions, programs offered, engineering at both campuses. The links on the right-hand side are to our engineering stories team. These are social media channels where you can go in and see content from current students in engineering on both campuses. They take you through firsthand experience of a lab space, the classroom, campus, dorm facilities, downtown, all sorts of cool stuff to check out from there. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much, Samantha and Hamza, for taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us today. On behalf of all of the students, staff, and faculty who presented during today's event, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again soon. Bye, everyone.